Okay, cool. Well, time. Hello, judges. My name is Brian Hensley. I'm the coffee manager at Indie Coffee Roasters in Carmel, Indiana. And I'm so honored to be a part of this competition. Thank you guys for your time. Now, as you know, today we have a washed Rwandan coffee from the Sholey Cooperative. And to introduce you to my approach to the coffee, I'm going to break it down into my overall approach, my roast by roast profiling, and then my final cup description. Let's dig into it. So upon initially sample roasting this coffee, I found that it had potential for the high sweetness and fruity characteristics common to East African coffees. However, it also had an astringency, particularly in the aftertaste, that I knew was associated to the decent amount of Quakers in the roasted product, as well as the less than perfect roast uniformity and just the potential for this coffee to defect. So to combat all these issues, I chose to roast with a relatively high drum speed and one static airflow setting that I found gave the optimum balance of conductive and convective heat transfer for my batch size. I also chose to post-roast sort as many of the Quakers, broken, chipped, and cut seeds, and any extremely small seeds I found in order to raise that roast uniformity. And the result of all this was a cup of much higher clarity and sweetness. And it was free of any of those overdeveloped or roasty notes that we don't want to see. Now, my first actual roast of the coffee was free of all these defects. However, it tasted very green. It was very short in flavor. It was underdeveloped. And so for all future roasts, I decided to add 15 seconds to my development time and raise my end temperature by at least 5 degrees Fahrenheit in order to bring that coffee into proper development. You know, this just raised the amount of flavor I got and the sweetness in the cup. And I could really begin to see what I had to work with this coffee. However, on my second roast, that flavor I had to work with I found was a little grainy or bready. I also found the acidity to be very lacking in intensity, and the body was somewhat mouth-drying. I had baked this roast, or stalled it by reaching first crack much too slowly in the roast. So in order to combat this, I lessened my time in both the yellow and the drying phases in order to reach first crack much sooner in the roast. And this promoted the acidity intensity in my cup. I also chose to lessen the time in that mired or yellowing phase more than I did in the drying even, to mitigate those browning reactions that were clouding my flavor and the body in the cup. This produced much more favorable fruity flavors, and it made the body become pleasantly coating, but no longer mouth-drying at all. Now, I'd gotten this far with my second to last roast, but I was noticing a greenness still in the acidity. The amount of acidity that I got was fine, a nice medium level, like I just described, but it just wasn't quality. And I also felt like I could get a little bit more sweetness out of this coffee. So to fix both of these issues, I raised my end temperature by 3 whole degrees, and this brought that medium intensity acidity to a high quality without any green or underdeveloped notes to it. And it brought that acidity up to a medium to high, the sweetness to a medium to high level. Now, the result of my profiling efforts today is a cup of excellent balance. There is chocolate in both the dry fragrance, as well as the aroma, and dried cherry in that aroma. The initial flavor is of medium to high sweetness, with notes of African cacao, Concord grape, and many dried fruits, but particularly dried cherry. The aftertaste has a pleasant dryness to it, similar to a slight lemon and also almond. As the coffee cools, that lemon turns to a more prominent mandarin orange, and that cacao note turns to a milk chocolate. As I said, the acidity is of low to medium intensity, but high quality without any green notes. And the body is a medium body of high quality, similar to whole milk. And it's pleasantly coating, but not mouth-drying. This coffee is excellently balanced with a medium acidity that pairs well with the medium body and medium to high level of sweetness to complement those dried fruits and complex chocolate notes. It's been a pleasure to roast this coffee. Thank you. That's my time. Good job. Nice to you. Was I good on time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.